I'm Michael Weber, Artistic Director of Chicago's Porchlight Music Theater. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941, in just a matter of weeks, not only attitudes, but the entire industrial base of the nation shifted onto a wartime footing. Created by the U.S. Treasury Department to stimulate sales of war bonds, the Treasury Star Parade had top radio talent writing patriotic scripts in the scenario, quote, "If Hitler won the war, America would have to expect ... unquote. During Hitler's rise to power, it became obvious that eventually defeating him and his ilk was going to be a long, intense, and expensive proposition. Many of the economists around President Roosevelt believed that the best way to fund the upcoming conflict was through increased taxation and enforced savings. Although this would have paid the bills, Roosevelt realized that Americans would do what they needed to do, but asking them to pay more taxes was a bad idea. People had the money needed to fight the war, but rather than taking it directly through taxes, FDR asked Americans for a loan. What was really amazing was not just that people universally saw what needed to be done and did it, but the fact that they actually paid for it through war bonds. The Treasury Star Parade starred top-name talent such as Tallulah Bankhead, Vincent Price, Betty Davis, Orson Welles, and many others who donated their time and 15-minute performances to the war cause. Today's episode of WPMT features 2 episodes of the Treasury Star Parade, each with stars from hit Broadway musicals performing selections from their then-running productions live on radio in front of a studio audience. Unlike the original cast albums you may be familiar with, the performances you're about to hear, like any in live theater, are ephemeral and one-of-a-kind, never to be repeated, and, in this case, available to us only through the magic of old-time radio. We start with the biggest hit of the 1940s, Oklahoma, the first musical written by Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein. Based on Lynn Riggs' 1931 play Green Grow the Lilacs, it tells the story of farm girl Lori Williams and her courtship by 2 rival suitors, cowboy Curly McLean and farmhand Judd Fry. The original Broadway production opened on March 31st, 1943. It was a box office smash and ran for an unprecedented 2,212 performances, later enjoying national tours, foreign productions, an Oscar-winning 1955 film adaptation, and award-winning revivals. Rodgers and Hammerstein even won a special Pulitzer Prize for Oklahoma in 1944. Here now, on a 1943 episode of the Treasury Star Parade, are the original Broadway stars Alfred Drake as Curly and Joan Roberts as Lori in Oklahoma.
This is a program of the United States Treasury. The Treasury Star Parade brings you Joan Roberts and Alfred Drake, stars of the Theater Guild's musical play Oklahoma, in highlights from this Broadway hit with David Brookman and the Treasury Orchestra and Chorus. Friends, every war bond that we buy is the seal of a faith well kept. Faith in our boys, faith in our country, faith in freedom. And every one of us who possibly can is asked to buy at least one extra $100 bond during the 3rd War Loan Drive, which is underway right now. No matter how much you're already investing, you must make this extra sacrifice. $15 billion more has got to be raised fast. It's got to be raised from us. So buy those extra $100 bonds and buy them now. Back the attack with your fighting dollars.
Down the plain, and the waving wheat can sure smell sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain. Oh, Oklahoma every night, my honey lamb and I sit alone and talk and watch a hawk making lazy circles in the sky. know we belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand. And when we say, yippee-yi-oh, we're only saying you're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, okay.
With that vigorous title song, the cast of New York's great musical play success, Oklahoma, has nightly ushered in the close of an unremittingly delightful evening in the theater. The Theater Guild of New York has enjoyed many fine successes. None has been more refreshing than Oklahoma. In 1907, the Oklahoma Territory became the state of Oklahoma. Such things involve people. A large proportion of people are youthful, and youth falls in love. Well, that brings us to Laurie and to Curly, the girl and the boy. And this is the way Laurie, the girl, feels about Curly, the boy. Pretty Joan Roberts, as Laurie, sings Out of My Dreams.
Out of my dreams and into your arms, I long to fly. I will come as evening comes to woo a waiting sky. Out of my dreams and into the hush of falling shadows, when the mist is low and stars are breaking through, then out of my dreams I'll go into a dream with you.
Won't have to make up any more stories. You'll be there. Think of the bright midsummer night glories we can share. Won't have to go on kissing a daydream. I real as the white moonlight in the
Out of my dreams and into your arms, I long to fly. I will come as evening comes to woo a waiting sky. Out of my dreams and into the hush of falling shadows, when the mist is low and stars are breaking through, then out of my dreams I'll go into
Joan Roberts, singing star of Oklahoma, has something she would like to say to all of us. All right, Joan?
Friends, every time you get a letter from some boy in the service, it's the cheerfulness that sort of chokes you up, isn't it? Those kids are so brave and gay. They're making the greatest sacrifice in all this world, and they're doing it willingly. So let's every one of us do all we can to help them win the victory sooner. Let's back them up not only with war bonds, but with extra war bonds. Buy at least one extra war bond during the third war loan, which is on now. And if it means giving up something you'd counted on, just remember that boy in service is ready to give up his life, if need be.
Yes, money is the least of the sacrifices in this war, so let's dig down and dig down deep to help our boys win faster. The third war loan drive is on right now, and every one of us who possibly can is asked to buy at least one extra $100 bond. No matter what you're already investing, your government asks you to do more. We're fighting a war of invasion today, and it's costing us more than $10 million an hour. So buy that extra $100 bond now. Back the attack and join the attack of your fighting men with your extra fighting dollars. David Brookman and his orchestra present two of the song hits from Oklahoma as they play "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning," and people will say we're in love. Not for sale. Fine Surrey with fringe on top. Yellow wheels and brown upholstery with dashboard of genuine leather. Latest roll-down isinglass curtains. Very stylish. Peachy for riding in the moonlight. Owner not selling because of extreme good health, high spirits, and romantic inclinations. Make no inquiries of Curly and Laurie of Oklahoma. They'll be busy in the Surrey with the fringe on top. Joan Roberts and Alfred Drake as Laurie and Curly sing The Surrey with the Fringe on Top.
When I take you out tonight with me,
Honey, here's the way it's gonna be.
you will sit behind a team of snow-white horses.
In the slickest gig you ever see.
Chicks and ducks and geese better scurry when I take you out in the Surrey. When I take you out in the Surrey with the fringe on top. Watch that fringe and see how it flutters when I drive them high-stepping strutters. Nosy folks'll peek through the shutters and their eyes will pop. The wheels are yellow, the upholstery's brown, the dashboard's genuine leather. With isinglass curtains you can roll right down in case there's a change in the weather. Two bright side lights winking and blinking, ain't no finer rig I'm a-thinking. You can keep your rig if you're thinking at a gear to swap for that shiny little Surrey with the fringe on the top.
Would you
say the fringe was made of silk?
Wouldn't have no other kind but silk.
Has it really got a team of snow white horses?
One's like snow, the other's more like milk.
Oh, so you can tell them apart.
Mm-hmm.
All the world will fly in a flurry
When I take you out in the Surrey, when I take you out in the Surrey with the fringe on top. When we hit the road, hell forever,
Cats and dogs will dance in the heather.
birds and frogs will sing all together, and the toads will honk. The wind will whistle as we rattle along. The cows will moo in the clover. The river will ripple out a whispered song and whisper it over and over. Don't you wish you'd go on forever? Don't you wish you'd go on forever? Don't you wish you'd go on forever and it'd never stop? In that shiny little Surrey with the fringe on the top. Hush, you bird, my baby's a-sleepin'. Maybe got a dream worth a-keepin'. Whoa, you teen, and just keep a-creepin' at a slow little laugh. Don't you hurry with the Surrey with the fringe on the top.
Folks, it's actually true that more people are making more money in America today than ever before. In many families, 2 or 3 people are working where formerly only one person had a job. So take that extra money and buy extra war bonds right now during the 3rd War Loan Drive. We're fighting a war of invasion, and it's costing us over $10 million an hour. We can't be over there in actual combat, but we can send our dollars to fight for us. So buy an extra war bond now. Back the attack and join in the attack of your fighting men. The United States Treasury Department thanks Joan Roberts and Alfred Drake for their appearance on this program, as well as this station for the use of its facilities. Special material was written by Ruth Aikman. The music was under the direction of David Brookman. This especially transcribed program was produced by Henry P. Hayward. This is Larry Elliott suggesting you check the radio column of your local newspaper and tune in the Treasury Star Parade.
Hi, this is Porchlight Music Theater's Development Manager, Evan. If you value programming like this, please consider making a donation today at porchlightmusictheater.org. We appreciate your consideration and hope you enjoy the show.
This is Michael Weber again, Artistic Director of Porchlight Music Theater. Our second feature in this Treasury Star Parade doubleheader is Porgy and Bess, with music by George Gershwin, lyrics by Ira Gershwin, and a libretto written by author DuBose Hayward as adapted from Dorothy Hayward and DuBose Hayward's play Porgy, itself an adaptation of DuBose Hayward's 1925 novel of the same name. Opening October 10, 1935 at the Alvin Theater, Porgy and Bess featured a cast of classically trained African-American singers, a daring artistic choice at the time for a commercial Broadway musical. Porgy and Bess tells the story of Porgy, a disabled street beggar living in the violent slums of Charleston, who attempts to rescue Bess from the clutches of Crown, her violent and possessive lover, and Sportin' Life, a drug dealer. While the original production was recognized as a masterpiece from the start, it was not a commercial success in its original production. In 1942, Porgy and Bess was given the first of its 6 subsequent Broadway revivals, and that is the cast we have for you now. Here on a 1942 episode of the Treasury Star Parade are the stars Anne Brown as Bess, and Todd Duncan, who created the role in the original Broadway production as Porgy with host actor Henry Hull. Porgy and Bess.
The Treasury Star Parade. With Todd Duncan and Ann Brown of the cast of Porgy and Bess, and Henry Hull as our master of ceremonies.
Many bonds today. Bonds of freedom is what we're selling. Many bonds today.
This is Henry Hull, ladies and gentlemen, with another program brought to you by the Treasury Department. I can't think of any composer whose work is more typically American than George Gershwin's. When Gershwin wrote Porgy and Bess, the whole musical world applauded. And when he got Todd Duncan and Ann Brown to sing the leading roles, they stood up and cheered. Today, here in New York, we're cheering all over again because Todd Duncan and Ann Brown are again starring in a revival of this famous opera on Broadway. And so we've invited them to be with us for this entire program to sing some of the songs they made famous. Mr. Todd Duncan and Miss Ann Brown in excerpts from George Gershwin's Porgy and Bess with Al Goodman conducting.
Little David was small, but oh my. Water, Timbabulu, a lot of water, yeah. Oh, I got plenty of nothing plenty for me. I got no car, I got no mule, got no misery. The folks with plenty, got a lock on their door. Afraid somebody's going to rob him while he's out making more. What for? Now I got no lock on my door, that's the way to be. They can steal the rug from the floor, that's okay with me, 'cause the things that I prize, like the stars in the sky, all are free. I got plenty and nothing's plenty for me. I got my gal, got my Lord, got him the whole day long. Oh, there's no use complaining. Got my gal, got my Lord, got my song. Porgy chases the woman from to live with him. He ain't cross with you no more, and ain't you hear how he and Bess all the time singing in their room? Happy. Oh, I got plenty and nothing's plenty for me. I got this town, got to keep it clean. The folks with plenty, got to pray all the day. Things with plenty, sure got to worry how to keep the devil away. Now I ain't a-fretting about hell till the time arrives. Never worry long as I'm well. Never want to strive to be good, to be bad. What the hell? I was glad I was alive. Oh, I got plenty and nothing's plenty for me. I got my gal, got my Lord, got him the whole day long. Oh, there's no use complaining. Got my gal, got my Lord, got my soul.
is the language of all peoples, understood by all peoples. It wells up out of their deepest spiritual needs and expressions and becomes a common speech by which they are understood by all the rest of the world. It is the laughter of downtrodden races, the joy of joyless nations, the beauty of people in whose lives is no other beauty. Every people has its own song, and that song is its precious contribution to life. America is rich in music, the music of the cowboys, of the Spanish vaquero, the plaint of the plains, and the romance of the border. For the last several programs, I have been your master of ceremonies and shall continue so to be. And I have gloried in your wholehearted response to our request that you buy war-saving stamps and bonds. This is important. This is your contribution. Buy United States war bonds and war stamps. Buy them today, buy them tomorrow, buy them every day, every week, until we win this war, because this is your war. This is your country. Keep it yours.
The United States Treasury Department thanks the distinguished artists who gave their talents to this transcribed performance. Mr. Henry Howell, Mr. Todd Duncan, and Miss Ann Brown. Also this station for its facilities. The orchestra and chorus were under the direction of Al Goodman. Writing by Malcolm Meacham and Violet Atkins. Produced by William A. Baker. This is Larry Elliott speaking.
Today's stars were some of the leading players in their era of Broadway musicals. Throughout a career that spanned more than 60 years, Joan Roberts also starred on Broadway in Marinka, Are You With It?, and High Button Shoes. She worked for the Schuberts for a period of time, traveling throughout the United States in a number of musicals, and she also performed at various regional theaters across the country in addition to her numerous stage, television, and film appearances over the years. Alfred Drake was mostly a stage and television actor. He starred in only one film, Tars and Spars, in 1946, but he played several roles on television, including providing the voice of the Great Ack in the Rankin Bass stop-motion animation adaptation of the L. Frank Baum novel The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus. And he appeared as president of the stock exchange in the classic film comedy Trading Places in 1983 with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Porgy and Bess star Anne Brown continued working as a professional musician into the 1950s, mostly as a concert singer and recitalist. Her career was cut short due to problems with asthma, and she no longer sang professionally after 1955. At this point, she embarked on a second career as a voice teacher. She resided in Oslo up until her death in 2009 at age 96. In 1945, Todd Duncan became the first black artist to sing in an opera with an otherwise white cast when he performed the role of Tonio in Pagliacci with the New York City Opera. In 1954, he was the first to record Unchained Melody, a popular song with music by Alex North and lyrics by Hy Zarrett. The recording was made for the soundtrack of the film Unchained, in which Duncan also played a minor character. Following Duncan's version, the song went on to become one of the most recorded songs of the 20th century. Theaters across the country need your support now, more than ever. We hope you'll consider a donation to Porchlight Music Theater today. Just go to porchlightmusictheater.org. Until next time on Classic Musicals from the Golden Age of Radio, I'm Michael Weber.